Mike Callen here. Wanted to take a few minutes here, hopping on Facebook after a whole lot of people over the last 7 to 10 days had been asking me to do another Facebook Live regarding the SImpleGrowth Masterminds group and our Scale group through SImpleGrowth coaching that gets you to $1 million. So I want to take a few minutes today and really drop in and talk about what the SImpleGrowth coaching division is doing and the SImpleGrowth Masterminds. So without any further delay, I'm actually going to open up the screen and give you a quick preview of the foundations of where the SImpleGrowth Masterminds group started about 18 to 20 months ago and where it's at. And we're going to highlight literally how we go out on a monthly basis and work with business owners to get really clear on a vision, their mission and the mission strategies, their core values, and a whole lot of other things by bringing the 8-figure business experts to get from $1 million all the way to that 8-figure mark, if that's something where you want to go. So whether it's 3, 5, 10 million, we've got business owners and coaches that have actually done that. And they're here in the room teaching with you virtually and live at our live events. Before I turn the video on and pop into this, if you are looking to make some massive shifts in your business, our live November event, if you're part of the group, is going to be headlined by some massive people that are national leaders outside of the SImpleGrowth group that you know and love. We got Jonathan Potoshnik of the Lawn Care Millionaire, Josh Latimer, Debbie Sardone, Libby Delucian, EJ McCoy, and a whole lot more coming down at each quarterly live event, and complete with a shop tour and a tour with a live event at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. So without any further delay, I'm going to drop in and show you what this is all about. Once again, this is an overview of
Mike Callen here. We know how it is to start and run a business, and that's why I'm making this special video to introduce you to the SImpleGrowth Masterminds group, as we all live and die for our businesses and hopefully get close to or just beyond that $1 million mark.
If you've been running a business for any amount of time, you understand that it can feel absolutely cluttered, chaotic, and honestly a little bit of a train wreck. And we don't admit that to each other when we're small business owners. We just kind of say, yeah, everything's great. But when we lift up the hood and we see underneath all these companies, we recognize, man, it is kind of a mess because we haven't learned how to simplify our business.
Hey, Mike Callen here. 2023 shop tour with SImpleGrowth Masterminds at Dalla Casa Landscape Management. I want to give you a quick preview of the shop tour that we're currently on here. One thing you'll notice here is the standardization of these trucks, absolutely pristine before the rollout here. As we go in, we're going down right around the nursery and the design build layout area. Like I said, about 22 acres is what we were told. Quite the shop to tour here. We're going to go into the actual shop. A little breakfast set up here for the Masterminds group provided by Dalla Casa. Like I said, once again, just a first-class organization. So as we walk into the office here, right down to the CSM, customer service managers. It's Tony, one of the founders of Dalla Casa. Peter was just in talking equipment asset management. Thankful enough for Tony to allow both of us here to take out Dalla Casa. So Tony, I want to thank you again for being part of this. Right down to the area we're walking out of the shop, a little cafeteria area here. Final thing is we're out front here at Dalla Casa. The HR department is breaking down the HR processes, how to interview, the process of onboarding. Can't thank Tony, Peter, and Jeff of KeyServe for this shop tour enough. SImpleGrowth Masterminds 2023, Charlotte, North Carolina, Mooresville here at Dalla Casa.
He was a phenomenal speaker, first of all. I mean, he keeps everyone involved the whole time. And I really liked when we were setting up our organizational chart for a 3 to 5 year plan. So you could kind of see what you're looking like now, where everyone's role is at, and then where you're going to be in 3 to 5 years and what hires you need to make.
My name's Brandon. I'm the founder of The Plant Nerd. This is my first in-person SImpleGrowth Mastermind meeting. It's been incredible between the shop visits, but one of the biggest takeaways for me is all the brain power we're doing together as a group that make dreams that felt very foggy and distant, something that I could accomplish in the not too distant future.
So you're looking for our November event. We're going to have the live update here of our live folks, but this is what it looks like at our live events and the after parties where we network and grow and work on each other's businesses. Live November event coming up. Jonathan Potoshnik of the Lawn Care Millionaire, Libby Delucian of Whoop Recruit, Josh Latimer of Honor and Fire, EJ McCoy, and also hosting a shop tour. Debbie Sardone, the leader in the cleaning industry, and the after party networking event at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. So if this is something you're interested in, we're going to be going over the SG Simple Growth Masterminds. And if you haven't broke that $1 million mark yet, we're going to be diving in and talking about what it looks like to get that $1 million mark and the things you need to be doing, and how the Simple Growth coaching team can assist. So hopefully everybody thought that was pretty cool. But as we're diving into it, this is really what we've got in my 7-figure business. As I was going through, I was out there searching for all of the things that I was going to run into as growth hurdles along the way, from literally starting, running, and then scaling my business to 7 figures and beyond. There was a lot of information out on the internet of what the bottlenecks or growth hurdles were like for a business that hadn't, basically, there was no information around a 7-figure business. There was a lot of information around a business that literally hit 100 million beyond. But as lawn care business owners, unless you're on the top of the top 100, this isn't even applicable to you. So when I found this chart here created by Keep, Clayton Mask, and Scott Martineau, we've actually gone out and licensed the material around the 5 stages of business. So as you're looking at the 5 stages of business, this is probably going to literally resonate of where you guys or girls are going to be at least it did for me here. So I'm going to go in and see if I can't pop this out here to present. And that looks like it does not want to allow me to do that. So I will explain this as we go. But basically across the top, we've got our 5 stages of business. So these are the different stages. If you go across the left, you got the number of employees, number of sales, number of companies in the US, your team size, and yes, the biggest hurdle that your lawn care business is going to tackle. So through our Simple Growth coaching division, we're going to systematically walk through these areas and help you break through these hurdles. So as you're looking at area number 1 here, I like to call this 1A and 1B as a screen here with the cursor. 1A is really, you've got a full-time gig, and you've got your lawn care business on the side. Your biggest hurdle is time. So how do we get the time to actually work on the business? Eventually, you're going to go and probably quit that job and go become a full-time lawn care company. And your biggest issue is leads. How do you get enough leads in the door to actually keep the lights on? Your family, your friends, people at church, kids, friends, parents, there are not going to be enough people in your ecosystem to keep the lights on. So your biggest issue now is your stage 1 business is leads. So as you're looking at the screen, it's kind of crazy. There's about 24 million small businesses, including lawn care companies, inside this group. Now, these are only the businesses that have actually registered with the government to pay taxes. So my guess is there's probably 35 to 40 million of these businesses in stage 1A and 1B. Now, once we get past that, we start bringing on team members. So we got 2 to 3 employees. We're running sales about 100 to 300,000 a year. And there's about 1.7 million of these small businesses. Your biggest issue here is sales. How do we go in and create predictable systems? So what we find in most service businesses is the owner is doing all the sales and also in the field. So they're going to sell a lot of work. They're going to do a lot of work. And it's this teeter-totter effect. We don't have consistent sales. Now, you may not completely solve this growth hurdle as we scale to stage number 3. But at this point, in order to get past this, we need to have somebody full-time or part-time coming in. And in that block of time, all they're doing is going in and selling the whole time and trying to hit a specific sales goal. Now, I'm going to hit on the area that your time, your leads, sales, and all the other growth hurdles that we're talking about here don't ever go away the bigger you get, unless you actually lock it down and create a process and system around that. So our Simple Growth coaching team, and I'm going to show you on the next screen or two how we tackle these areas with one-on-one coaching. Once you evolve to our stage 5, that's where we go into the Simple Growth Mastermind. So I'm going to give you the evolution of how this actually goes. But in that sales hurdle on stage number 2, between 100,000 and 300,000, we need to have predictable sales with a dedicated salesperson, part-time or full-time. In addition, we also need to go in and have a predictable sales system that can be delegated through a production rate based estimating system and job costing reporting, just to hit on a few things. Once we evolve to our stage 3 business, we're about 300,000 to $1 million. And we're going in and literally running about 4 to 10 employees. Now, the scary part of this here is the business owner is going out and hiring people that they don't know. And those people they don't know are actually doing the work by themselves with 4 to 10 people. We've got 2 to 3 crews here. Biggest growth hurdle that you're going to find in your lawn care business is literally marketing and service. So along the lines of hiring those people we don't know, how do we create SOPs and predictable service and quality levels? And in addition, how do we have predictable marketing that feeds that sales machine, which is our hurdle in area number 2. So can we go in and create predictable client acquisition models so we know how many people came from each lead source, how many people on a percentage convert into a client from each lead source, and our client acquisition costs from each lead source, and eventually a client lifetime value. Once we figure that out, hopefully before we get past that point and get to the stage 4, where is our $1 million mark, like I said, again, these growth hurdles do not disappear as you get bigger. If you have not fixed them, they will be there forever until we fix them. That's where the Simple Growth coaching team comes in our scale, and then our mastermind's $1 million plus to dial in these areas. If we've got the stage 4, you've broken $1 million, congratulations. You're in the top 3 to 5% of all business owners, small business owners in the United States. You are an elite business owner. But your biggest issue here at stage number 4 is going to be people and systems. And once again, now we've hired people that we don't know that are out there doing the work. Now, to compound that at this size, between 1 and 3 million, the people you've hired that you don't know are going out and hiring people they don't know. So we need to get our systems around people and basically operating systems standardized. So this is where we go in for our 7-figure plus business owners in the Simple Growth Masterminds. You got to be at least 7 figures to get into the masterminds. We get really clear on a purpose, why we do what we do. That's our North Star. We go into a mission, not the typical mission you're thinking, but literally imagine Mount Everest. We're at base camp, and mission, our mission over the next 3 years is get to the summit. But stage 1, base camp 1, what does that look like? Base camp 2, and then the summit. And there are clearly defined metrics that are going to get us there that we rally our team behind. An example would be number of clients, annual revenue, number of crews. But we know what winning looks like. We know how we're going to get there, driving down into quarterly and annual planning that we help build out and work with you on your annual quarterly planning, getting your team to get aligned around core values that we're going to eventually hire, train, and fire to. We get really, really clear. And as you go to stage 5, from 3 to 10 million with the 8-figure business experts we brought in, we need to get really clear on our leadership and really define that culture, because now we've got yourself as a leader getting into a role that you are a leader that you're not ready to be. Your skill set is not ready to be the leader at 3 million or 5 million or 10 million. So we're going to go in and work with you to become the leader you need to be. And as well as we've got a leadership team, the people on your team probably are not the leaders they need to be to lead at that scale. And we're going to do that through culture, clarity, tied in with performance of literally setting a purpose, mission goals, and core values, and a whole lot of other things around a big 3 and methodology. So when we have A players on our team, they know what winning looks like, and they know if they're winning. And if they're not, we know what we need to do to coach them up to that winning status. So with the Simple Growth Masterminds and coaching, we're going to walk through these growth hurdles that you're going to see in your business. And if you haven't fixed the growth hurdles of time, leads, sales, marketing, service, people and systems, and leadership and culture, they are going to be with you on your journey to $1 million and well beyond. So we need to get in, pump the brakes, and get really clear and build your business with some really solid foundations. So as we go in, the Simple Growth 6 simple steps to business to get to that $1 million mark is we've broken down in 6 very basic steps. And this is where we have one-on-one coaching with accountability. We have monthly webinars. We have a hot seat where it's 6 or 7 businesses. You bring your problem. We work together, facilitated to help you with those problems, kind of your own virtual therapy session to help you with your current problems month after month with business owners that are going through the same exact things that you're going through in the same industry. They're about the same size or a little bit bigger than you. So if that wasn't enough, we have quarterly live events for our masterminds group and once annual live events for the scale group or our coaching division as we scale up to $1 million and beyond. But as we're doing it foundationally, whether you're in the scale group scaling to $1 million or the masterminds group, we want to make sure we've got 6 pillars of foundational success on here. So the first thing we're looking about is time management. Do you have 4 hours to work on your business and not in it, as Mike Gerber would say? And we don't care if it's 4 hours in one sitting during the week, if it's 1 hour for 4 days, or if it's broken up in half hour, 40, 45-minute increments. But we need at least 4 hours that's uninterrupted, that should not be disturbed unless there's an absolute family emergency or a natural disaster. This is your time to work on the actual strategy of the business. This is not doing it in estimates. This is not training people. We're going to walk through and show you what you need to be doing in these 4 hours to be successful. In addition, as your team grows to that million mark and beyond, time management is something that's not usually taught to most business owners or people in the lawn care and landscape industry. So we're going to show you how to block your calendar, protect that time, and then be able to show your team how to do the same thing to actually get the strategic work done in the business. Step number 2 is we're going to get your finances in order. If you don't know how much you need to be charging per hour per service, if you don't know what it costs you to operate per hour break even before you make a profit, first of all, we need to get really clear on those. In that process, in addition, we need to go in and make sure we've got our financial books, hopefully in QuickBooks, in order. And by the 10th or 15th of the next month, those books are in order. And we can sit down and use a scorecard to make sure you're hitting your metrics for accountability with the one-on-one coach, or if you're 7 figures and beyond, hopefully with your leadership team. In addition, we need to get really clear on your personal finances, how they're affecting the business. We're not stealing from the business for, let's say, your personal vehicle, a car, or a boat, or RV. We're running a clean set of books that's not getting bled dry by your personal finances. You're getting paid a fair market wage. In addition, we're going to go in, how do we create production rate based estimating to make sure you're ensuring net bottom line profits based on your business and your revenue goals, just to hit a few. But we're going to get that financial house in order on step number 2. Step number 3, we're going to build a simple business. So a lot of the businesses, including mine in the early days, we were really good at 20 or 30 different services. What we needed to do is get down to 4 or 5 core services that we were great on, that were predictable, that could be delegated, that did not revolve around the business owner. So we're going to go in and build a simple business and tap into the financial stuff we did step number 2 to create production rate based estimating systems for a simple, scalable business up to $1.5 million to $2 million. We'll pull it out and then start upselling and cross-selling around that. 4th, we're going to hire A players. So if you remember the growth hurdles we just talked about, leadership and culture are 2 big things. How do we go and create a culture and a way to create culture with performance and align them to bring in A players and retain A players? You probably heard the analogy before if you've seen any of these videos, but I think it really hits home. Imagine going to a sports game with no scoreboard and no timer. We don't know how much time is in the game or how much time we need to get the job done. We don't know what winning looks like. We're not told if we're winning or losing. Your A players, if you're lucky enough to get them, and now in today's labor market, if there is not clarity around what winning looks like and they don't know if they're winning or losing right now, you're at major risk of losing your A players. We need clarity with culture tied together, and your A players need to know what winning looks like and if they're winning or losing on a daily and weekly basis with public accountability. Step number 5 is client acquisition model. We've got a really serious foundation now. We've got our finances in order. We're time management. We've got a simple business. We got the key A players working in your business. Time to go in and put some gasoline on that fire and literally take it straight up and hockey stick that growth. This is our client acquisition model, how to build that marketing system and alleviate one of the final roadblocks to $1 million. And like I said, we can break $1 million and not have these things in place, but we're going to go in and make sure they're in place. But we're going to go out and scale that business now to 7 figures and hopefully 8. Now, as we're on that 7-figure to 8-figure run, step number 6 is a leadership model. How do you become the effective CEO that you need to be and build leadership skills within your other leadership team? And possibly, if you're not the leader you need to be and you don't want to become that leader, how do we go out and find that leader to go and drive your business from the CEO level or the CFO level? So those are the 6 steps of simple businesses by Simple Growth Coaching that is going to drive you to 7 figures. And if you've broken 7 figures and you don't have these 6 steps of having at least 4 hours a week to work on your business strategically, your finances order, business and financial, you don't have a simple business of 4 to 5 core services, at least up to $1.5 million to $2 million that are predictable, that don't need you. You don't have a process to hire A players and retain them with clarity and a scorecard. You haven't dialed in your client acquisition model, or you're not the CEO that you need to be at 7 figures. This is absolutely instrumental that we should have a call, sgscall.com. We need these 6 steps, whether you're scaling to $1 million, if you're beyond $1 million, especially, give us a call, see if you qualify for our coaching or masterminds. Now, cool thing is once we broke 1 million, we've turned down probably about 20 to 25 businesses. You have to be the right fit for the coaching and especially the masterminds. But the masterminds group here, as we're diving in, we've recently revamped our agenda. So the actual 5 or 6 areas I'm going to go over here now are actually remote to exponentiate your onload time. And then we have live events once a quarter to reassure you understand them and work on them live knee to knee. But basically right off the bat, we get really clear on your purpose, values, mission, and mission goals and dive into that. After that, we're going in and setting the mission strategies. So the mission strategies is, hey, in 3 years, we want to be at 5 million. How are we going to get there each year? And what does that look like? We involve your team and people actually take ownership of the different executables. It's not just the business owner anymore. It's the whole entire team. Next thing is we're going in is we go in and teach you how to hire, lead, and fire to the vision and get the right people contributing to your business and how you can lead and hire to the actual vision of the business. We go in and create a future org chart. So what does it look like in 3 years? What are the key areas that we need to hire and responsibilities? So we have the idea of what are we looking for in key hiring before we actually need them. So that's key. We're actually setting a roadmap to scale from 7 to 8 figures with all the key hires and the different areas. So then we're going to take a look back at what are you currently doing and who's wearing the most hats, and strategically, where do we need to start hiring from that? And then the final part is we're going to go in and look at your quarterly annual rhythm and work with you how to execute that with your team. And if you need be, we have certified coaches that can actually fly out to your organization and help implement your quarterly and annual planning and walk you through this whole entire process. So wanted to take some time today to really just talk about how the Simple Growth Masterminds has allowed me to take the elite content that we've licensed to actually bring you the clarity of setting a vision, a mission with mission strategies, core values to hire, train, and fire to them, how to get your annual quarterly planning together, big 3 methodology, and a whole lot more to be able to give you the skill set to become the leader that you need and your leadership team needs to go to 7 to 8 figures. If you haven't broken the 7-figure mark, or you've broken the 7-figure mark and you have not gone in and solidified the 6 simple steps to scale your business, we can actually come in and help you. But really ethically at this point, is part of something that I wanted to give back to the industry. And I wanted to bring in the elite methodology. And in addition, tap into the national network of leaders that I have in my network for these live events. We've got the same Simple Growth Masterminds team that speak at the live events every time that you know and love. But we are tapping into my network of about 28 to 30 industry leaders starting this January at the live event, including Jonathan Toshnik, Josh Latimer, Debbie Sardone, Libby Delucian, and EJ McCoy, complete with a shop tour and a live networking event out there. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you're watching the end of this and you haven't seen it, I'm going to play the video real quick, but for sure, you want to take a look at it. It is SGS call to see if you qualify. So questions, comments, drop them below. We're getting clear on the 6 steps to get to 7 figures and beyond. And then we're going in to the elite methodology, getting clear, building the culture and leadership you need to get to 7 figures and beyond in your lawn care business. Next live event is going to be in Dallas, Texas, the beginning of the month. And we've got 3 days there, complete with shop tour and live event. In addition to that, we just had our monthly webinar for our masterminds group. Brett Gillian came in and talked about how to have the perfect onboarding for that A player and how to get them acclimated, because you really, first chance is your only chance to actually make a first impression for that new employee. And then coming into October is our live webinar event that you'd be able to make. Jason Cupp's coming in talking the legalities of hiring, handbooks, performance improvement plans, and if you have to let somebody go, how to do it legally, as well as severance packages. So all these things, if you don't have them in place, your business, 7 figures and beyond for sure. SGScall.com to see if you qualify for the Simple Growth Masterminds. Looking forward to see you guys on October's webinar and the live event in Dallas, Texas. SGScall.com.